Now we're going to start mixing colour, and that's greys, blue greys and dark greys or blacks. First, I'm going to mix the sky colour, and we're going to use phthalo blue and cadmium red, and we're going to make a very light, slightly blue biased grey. We start with blue and we add the red to the blue, and that will give us a grey. Now we're going to do a blue-grey for the waterfall itself. I'll be using French ultramarine and burnt umber, and again start with the blue, add the burnt umber, and that will give us a blue-grey, and this one is going to be a darker blue-grey. Finally, I need a very strong dark colour. And again, I'm going to use the French ultramarine and the burnt umber, and I'm going to mix separately an intensely dark grey, really a black, a slightly bluish black. So now we've got all our colours mixed on the palette. That's the main battle. The next job is to apply them. I'm going to brush clean water right across the sky, like this. And then when this is done, I'll be brushing colour into the water. Now we avoid not only the mast areas, but some of the whites around them. I want to save a few extra whites. At the end, we'll be brushing dark texture across the mast area. But at the moment, I'm going to define the drop of the fall, everything below the rim, and I'm going to paint a light grey into this area and into the sky. So we've got a light grey going into the area below the waterfall and the sky. So here's my phthalo blue, cadmium red, grey, and I'm going to use a very pale wash of this. Brushed a little bit on, just a bit too much, doesn't matter, just add water to it on the paper, and that's the sky. Now this very, very light area of colour will enable the brightest areas of white on the paper to be shown up. Now I'm brushing down into the dark depths below the rim of the waterfall, and this is actually all the white mist coming up. Despite the fact that it's white, I'm actually painting it with quite a lot of this grey, again from cadmium red and phthalo blue. Start with the blue, add the red to the blue, and we get this deep, dark, neutral grey, ever so slightly blue. So that's the mist. Now we take this colour up to the rim of the waterfall, and then when we get to the rim, look at this. We just drag little brush strokes up, and this is the drop of the waterfall. In fact, we can join the waterfall onto this area of dark mist, and this is some of the lighter accents of the water where it just sheets over the edge and drops into this area of mist. And then finally, I really do want to make sure that this area of mist is dark enough. So a little bit more colour in there. Now we start to put in some of the darker colour. You remember we mixed some ultramarine blue and burnt umber? Well, the idea here is to just start to run the edge of the waterfall down into the abyss. So these are soft focus shadows. These are the dark shadows between the hundreds of jets of water plummeting down. Now here's another little trick. As they go, they start to fragment, and those little fragmentations start to space out as they go down. Just little blobs, quite soft focus. And we draw that back up into the top of the waterfall to produce the rim where the water is just falling over the edge. Now, although this is mist, it's still very, very dark down there. That's in deep shade, and this darkness in the base of the waterfall is what is going to give us a lot of the effect of depth, the feeling that there's a bottomless abyss down there. It's not bottomless, it's actually about 180 feet, but that's deep enough for me. And we carry on modelling the rim where the water just drops over. Very important to save some of these flashes of white. Can you see those? They're now the gaps between the brush strokes where the waterfall drops. Well, now I'm going to get a smaller brush and start to work with progressively darker colour. Beef it up a bit. So that's very, very dark. An intense blackish blue from ultramarine blue and burnt umber. And these two colours unite to make any number of different greys and blacks. I'm trying to keep mine slightly blue biased. So there it is. And as it falls down, it's finally obscured by the mist rising up from the valley floor. Now we can get a little bit of clean water and push it up like that. It won't remove the colour completely, but it will tend to just give that extra cloudy effect before we move on to the next stage. So we've now got clouds of mist from the impact of all that water deluging over the edge.